welcome to my channel iSmile Academy. Today we'll be doing atoms and nuclei part 6. So the first question, in the given reaction, this is the given reaction, radioactive radiations are emitted in the sequence. So we have to find the sequence, which particles are emitted, so that this compound becomes Y becomes K, and so on, it continues. So we will just first write the first element. We are given X, A and Z. So it gets converted to an element Y, A and Z plus 1. So here what we see, there is an increase in the atomic number by 1 and there is no change in the mass number. So this is the property of a beta. Okay, when beta ray is emitted, we get this, that atomic number increases by 1 and there is no change in the atomic mass number. Then this Y, we get it as K, A minus 4 and Z minus 1. Okay, so what we see, this A, okay, here whatever A is given to us, this A, there is a decrease A in the value of A by 4 and Z plus 1 becomes Z minus 1, but that means, so here there is a decrease of in the mass number, it decreases by 4 and the atomic number decreases by 2. Okay, so this is the property of a alpha ray, alpha emission. So this is alpha. Okay, so first beta, then alpha, and then finally from K, it does not changes, neither the mass number changes, neither the atomic number changes. So this is the property of a gamma ray. Okay, so the sequence is beta, alpha and gamma. So this is the sequence. Next we come to question number 2. The radioactivity of a certain radioactive element drops to 1 by 64 of its original value in 30 seconds. Its half-life is. So what we are given is, we'll write here from n upon n0 is given to us. It is equal to 1 upon 64. Then second thing what we are given is t is given, small t. It is 30 seconds. So we have a radioactive element at t equal to 0, n0 was 64. Now after 30 seconds n becomes 1. So what is the half-life? So we need to calculate t half. Okay, what is this t half? We have a formula, n upon n0 is equal to half raised to t upon t half. So n upon n0 is given to us 1 upon 64 and this half, so t is 30 upon t half. Now we need to use some mathematical trick. So 1 upon 64, it can be written as 1 upon 2 raised to 6, because 2 raised to 6 is 64. So we have this half 30 upon t half. Now this if we equate both the sides, what we get is 6 is equal to 30 upon t half. So this 3 t half is equal to 30 by 6 if we cross multiply. So we get this answer as 5 seconds. So the answer in this case is 5 seconds. So next is question number 3. If t is the half-life of a radioactive material, then the fraction that would remain after time t by 2 is. So we are given two things. One is the half-life, t half, it is given as equal to capital T, and after some time t, how much fraction remains. So this is given as t by 2. Two things are given. So we need to find n upon n0, or n upon n0, we know the formula, it is equal to half raised to t upon t half. So I just substitute the values. Half, small t is t by 2 and capital T, t half is t itself. So here what we see, t and t gets cancelled out, so we are left with half raised to half. So half means 1 upon 2 raised to half is actually root 2. So what we get is 2 raised to half, which is equal to 1 by root 2. So this much amount remains after time t by 2. So C, in this case, C is the answer. So what we want to find was n by n0, which is equal to 1 upon root 2. Next is question number 4. Which of the following is in the increasing order of penetrating power? So we must find the sequence in which, if we go further, the penetration power increases. Okay, so in this case, what we have is alpha is having the least penetration power, then beta has penetration power which is equal to 100 times alpha, and gamma is having penetration power which is 100 times that of beta. So this is having the highest one. Okay, so in this sequence, alpha, then beta, then gamma. So this is the correct sequence. It is in the increasing order of the penetration power. Next we come to question number 6. The decay constant lambda and the half-life of a radioactive isotope are related as. So we have the relation between lambda and half-life. So lambda is 0.693 upon T, where T is the half-life. We sometimes write T up because it is given capital T where T. Now this particular equation is not seen in our options, but what we have is log of 2 to the base e is actually 0.693. So we just substitute this value above. So what we have is lambda is, instead of 0.693, we write log 2 to the base e upon t. So this is our answer. So this D matches our answer. Next we come to question number 7. The correct order of ionizing capability of alpha, beta and gamma rays is. So in case of alpha, beta, gamma rays, alpha rays is having the highest ionizing power, ionizing capability, and then comes beta, and then comes gamma. So this is having the highest ionizing power, then this has low, and this is very low. So here what we observe is this is the correct this is the correct sequence. Alpha is greater than beta, which is greater than gamma. Next is question number 8. Unit of radioactivity is Rutherford. Its value is. So here several values are given. So the correct answer in this case is 1 into 10⁶ disintegrations per second. So radioactivity is calculated in terms of disintegrations per second. So here the answer is this one. Okay. Now one more thing, we must know also some other units are also. Okay. As we can see here in this case, here some units are given. So one unit is becquerel. The SI unit of radioactivity is becquerel, which is 1 disintegration per second. We also have another unit called as curie. 1 curie is 3.7 into 10⁻10 disintegrations per second, which is given here. Next we come to question number 9. What is the respective number of alpha and beta particles emitted in the following radioactive decay? So we have element X, it decays to Y. So first we check, because when alpha particle is emitted, the mass number decreases by 4 and atomic number by 2, and when beta is emitted, the atomic number increases by 1. So first we calculate for alpha only. Now see, the mass number initially was 200 and it became 168. So we subtract this 200 minus 168, what we get is 32. Okay, so the atomic mass number decreases by 32. So if one alpha particle decays, it contributes, it just decreases the mass number by 4. So 32 we can divide it by 4, so it is 8. It means 8 alpha particles are emitted. Okay, 8 alpha particles are emitted. Now regarding the second part, okay, now when 8 alpha particles are emitted, the change in the atomic number, okay, 8 2s are 16. So 90 minus 16 is the actual change. So if we subtract this, okay, what we get is 74. Okay, so it should 80 should have become 74, but there is an increase of 6. Okay, so increase of 6 means what? 6 beta particles are also emitted, which will compensate the loss, which will just make this plus 6. Okay, so it becomes 80. So the answer in this case is 8 alpha and 6 beta particles are emitted. Next is question number 10. The rate of disintegration of fixed quantity of a radioactive element can be increased by temperature, increasing pressure, increasing temperature, chemical reaction. It is not possible. See, first of all, you must know the rate of disintegration of a radioactive material dN upon dt is proportional to the number of nuclides present at that time. So here temperature is not there, pressure is not there, more the number of nuclides which have not decayed. Okay, so this rate depends on n. More the number of n, more is the decay, less is the number of the nuclide, less the decay. So in this case, this all options are incorrect. Okay, so it is not possible. Beta rays, they are electrons and they are deflected by electric and magnetic field, and electromagnetic waves, they cannot be deflected by electric or magnetic field. So beta rays are not electromagnetic wave. So students, that's all for this session. Okay, please revise and study properly, refer the books also. Okay, all the best. Thanks for watching.